BBC Radio Scotland. Now, Lucy Porter is known for her comedy. She's graced the square as her character Rita and become a household name as both a podcaster and radio host. But she is back with her true love, comedy, and she's here to tell us about her Fringe show on why regrets make the best jokes. Lucy Porter, welcome to the programme.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is my first interview about the Fringe, and it's getting me very excited for the circus coming to town next week.
Well, do you know what? I'm in Edinburgh this morning, actually, and the circus is very much here because the road closures and all the other fun stuff that come along with it are very much in full swing. But you can already
Apologies about that. I always feel like, we sort of turn up from everywhere all over the world and just make the residents of Edinburgh's life a little bit harder for some time.
But it's good though, because you're beginning to see like all the posters go up and it's just that buzz and sort of just general feeling around the city changes a little bit. I mean, what is it about the Fringe for you that seems to keep drawing you back?
Oh, I mean, 1992 was my first Fringe, which I'm sure there are people listening who weren't even born in 1992. And I stepped off the train at Waverley, never having been to Scotland before, never having been to Edinburgh before. And it was like properly love at first sight. And I just thought this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. And then I had the best month of my entire life. I was a little judge on the Perrier Awards, as they used to call them, the big comedy awards, and I'd won a competition in a magazine to come and be a judge on this comedy panel. And I love comedy. I was a total comedy nerd, but I'd never really been to much live comedy, and I spent a month going to see like 5 shows a day. And I think Steve Coogan and John Thompson won the award that year and I just thought it was the funniest show I'd ever seen. And I just kept on coming back, and then it started the little spark within me that I thought maybe, I love comedy so much, maybe I should try doing it. And then did my first solo show, I think in 2002. And I am completely addicted. I mean, my husband is worried about me because he's like, people of your age shouldn't still be going up to the Fringe every year, but I cannot stay away because it's where I see so much comedy and theatre and dance, things that I'd never watched the rest of the year necessarily.
That's what's so great about it though. I think that it's for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not just if you're starting your career out, it's not just if you're sort of dabbling in it, it's almost just a celebration of that genre.
Yeah, well, and my kids have grown up with it. So, I mean, quite foolishly, I've been bringing my children up to the festival every year, which when we had 2 under 2 was something of a challenge.
When
we were staying in a top floor flat. It's like now they're of an age where they have started to, like, they always love the children's shows, obviously, but like now they're so excited about seeing all the stand-ups that they've seen on TikTok and online, and, the people talking about the correct use of emojis, which I'm very much looking forward to that feature because according to my children, all emojis are embarrassing.
What's your top 3 actually? Because I was going to ask you about this.
Yes, so I'm thumbs up, heart, classic red heart.
Oh, the red one. But then does the red heart not mean sort of you're only really sending that to someone like, I don't know, you're in some sort of relationship with? Because that's what I would think about that.
Well, I sent it to my accountant yesterday, so we could be in for an interesting time.
See, I'm a purple heart person. That's the sort of, Purple Heart. I know it's not offensive, but I'm feeling sort of emotionally connected to you in some way if you get a Purple Heart. And I was just looking at the ones that maybe are sort of like my most used, and it's the little guy with a hat and the sort of like, the celebration one.
Yes, the little party blower one. I use that quite a lot. Well, tragically, the champagne glass is clinking because that's always as if I ever drink champagne. It's normally, do you want to meet for a glass of rosé at the pub at the end of the road?
I know there should be a different emoji for that, shouldn't there?
There should be.
I read actually you talking about that sort of change and shift in comedy, talking about TikTok, and I suppose that the changes, because that's probably, let's be honest, where that conversation started, is someone on TikTok saying something about some emoji was wrong. And you're not necessarily sort of like worrying about this new generation or sort of new direction that comedy's going in.
No, I mean, I love it. And again, because through my kids, I get to see new stand-ups that I would never have encountered. Because, I play little arts centres and theatres now, and I'm not really on the comedy circuit so much. So I think it's a brilliant way for new comics to promote their work. But I mean, I do not understand it. And my agent keeps saying, oh, could you send us some clips for TikTok? And I'm like, no, all my stories are about 15 minutes long and have loads of tangents. And, I'm not a short form comedian. That's why I like coming to Edinburgh, because I get to do an hour long show and I've got people captive in a room for an hour rather than just, scrolling idly past me for 15 seconds.
Right, well, tell us about the show then, because it's all about regrets, and let's be honest, probably most of us listening have many. But what was
well,
it
I'm now
about?
Regretting texting my accountant a heart emoji yesterday. That's immediately. I've got so many regrets to do with Edinburgh as well. Actually, to do with the Fringe. There's going up Arthur's Seat shoeless at 4 a.m. Those kind of things. But the reason the show came about was because I was doing an interview about the last tour I was on, and the journalist said to me, "Oh, do you have any regrets?" And I thought about it and I said, well, yeah, of course I've got loads. I regret not standing up to the bullies at school. I regret going to Manchester University just because I thought I'd meet Morrissey and he'd want to marry me. I regret that the last words I said to my mum weren't thank you or I love you, rather than that haircut makes you look like Myra Hindley. I regret not buying a bigger air fryer. And I went on, and the journalist stopped me and he was laughing and he said, look, I've done this interview with dozens and dozens of people, and nobody ever says they have any regrets. People always say something like, oh, well, I don't really have any regrets because, to be honest, everything that I've done in my life has led me to the place I am now.
Yeah, like what's the point? And
you never know. Yeah, and I sort of get that it's hard to sort of look at regrets, but I kind of think they're quite useful. And so the starting point of the show was me thinking, is it worthwhile having regrets? And it's basically just a really good excuse for me to list all the terrible, embarrassing things that I've done over the years. So we cover everything from like proper, life regrets, like things about my parents and my family and stuff, to I do have quite a lot of regrets about purchasing. So this is a little spoiler, but I've made myself a cloak out of all the things I've bought on the internet to wear that I've then realised don't suit me or fit me, but I haven't returned within the 28-day window.
This is absolutely like my line of work. 100%. So, the cloak itself, what are they like, just pinned onto it? Or are they made from these garments?
Well, do you know Sewing Bee finished last night? I have been watching it religiously and it inspired me to get my sewing machine out. So I have very haphazardly created a sort of patchwork of all the stuff that I bought. It's mostly jumpsuits, to be honest with you, because I think this is one with online shopping, is you don't try things on.
Is it the body to leg ratio?
It is. I have very weird proportions.
Yeah,
I have
same.
got very short legs and a very long torso, which if you're going to have weird proportions, you don't want it that way round. You want the long legs and the short torso. But so, yeah, if I put on a jumpsuit, it's like stretched tight over the top bit of me and then just acres of material flapping in the breeze down by my legs. So, but I forget every time I have a look and I see it on a model online and it says petite fitting or whatever, and I fall for it every time and I buy another jumpsuit that doesn't fit me.
See, this is tricky, isn't it? And I guess it's about trying to in some way be honest, be open. Like how much do you say to yourself, right, jumpsuits aside, because I feel as if that's something most of us can relate to in some way, shape or form if we bought a jumpsuit. But like, how much do you decide to yourself, like, I'm going to show, like, it'd be quite vulnerable and open?
Yeah, well, I am a bit of an oversharer, but this is sort of what, when people say, oh, I don't have any regrets, I think like we are all being a lot more honest about our internal lives and about our emotions and stuff. But I think it's still quite hard to really dig away at some of the sort of negative stuff because, you don't want to bring people down. So I always have that tension between, I want to talk about some difficult things, but I do want to make them funny. And I don't want people to come in and, feel I don't want them to feel like they've just been challenged or put through the emotional ringer for an hour.
Yeah.
But also, you do want people to leave having had some sort of. I was like a show, where you laugh, but then you do come away and you go, oh, actually, do you know what? Maybe I should think about my relationship with my dad again, or maybe I should call one of my friends and say I'm sorry we haven't met for a while, or I like a little bit of emotional heft to a show as well.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I think you're right. I think if people leave with something for themselves, whether it's a laugh, which is always guess what you're hoping for, but also some sort of something to take away and put in their pocket and consider at a time where they want is decent as well. What about the acting?
I mean, even if, like with my show, it's even if you just take away the lesson, never order seafood in the service station, or never let your husband cut your hair. I always think it's nice to give a little bit of wisdom and show what you've learned a little bit.
I'd say so, although realistically, probably the latter most people had to do during lockdown at some point. So hopefully,
that's very much where it comes from.
Yeah,
for me, yeah.
Most of those days are gone. Well, yeah. What about the acting then? Because I mean, this is just another string to your multiple bow.
Well, I mean, I have been very lucky with acting. So this year marks the 20th anniversary of a show at the Fringe where we did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Christian Slater playing McMurphy, the main role, and a load of comedians as supporting artists. And that was one of the first acting jobs that I ever got. And it couldn't have been more exciting. We did a month at the Fringe, and then we did a run in the West End. And it was like, talk about as a first theatre job, how spoilt was I to get that?
I know.
And so I kind of, I tend to luck into acting jobs a little bit, really. So like EastEnders, which you referred to, I mean, that was amazing. I did that last year, and it was such a phenomenal experience. I got to take my washing out of the machine in the laundrette that I have been watching since the 80s. So
like, what was that like, though? You must have been, do you sort of go into those moments where you just have to like pretend that you're not bothered about it, or were you properly like fangirling thinking, I can't actually believe I'm here?
Oh, I did actually. I had a proper moment, and I could not conceal my excitement. And when I saw Letitia Dean's dressing room, I squealed. I like audibly squealed because I was so excited about it. But I mean, I think you do get a bit jaded, don't you, in life, whatever. But I mean, the beauty of my job is I'm so lucky. I get so much variety, and I think if I ever stopped enjoying it, then I would give up, because it's like the excitement and novelty. Like every year when I come to the Fringe, I am like, this is amazing, I cannot wait. And then by the end of the month you may be a little bit more more tired and emotional, but I mean, I'm only up for 10 days this Fringe. I've made the decision now that I'm only going to do the fun part at the beginning, so I'm only up from the 1st to the 11th doing my show, so I'm leaving on a high, I hope.
Right, so the show Just the Tonic.
Yes, it's in a cave, which is I haven't done a cave for years. But
is it the actual caves?
It's up the road in the caves, which is the bit, so opposite Bannerman's, for those who know the area. It's that bit where you got there's a little courtyard and there's loads of sort of, so I think it's one of the actual cave bits to what used to be back in my day, the old Gilded Balloon area, but it's all moved. It's all changed now.
I had my wedding party in there during COVID.
Did you? Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Very, very fun times. Anyway, on that note, all the best with the show, Lucy. Hopefully you'll come back and just tell us how it all went.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Lucy Porter there. Just the Tonic is, as she was saying, just up the road from the 1st to the 11th of August. The show is on as well, and if it's just a date for the diary, is on at 4:40 during those dates. So grab your tickets. Right, it is 10:25.
Christmas time is nearly here, it really is not long. So let's all get together and sing some Christmas songs. Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin flew away. They both wore real skimpy pants because they were both superheroes. The Chris Moyle Show. Christmas on...
Oh, that was nice to speak to Lucy Porter. This is what happens at this time of the year, right? I'll speak to people who are doing all these amazing Fringe shows, and I'll like make a little note of ones that I want to go and see. And then before I know it, there's like a week to go in the festival and I've seen nothing because you're so busy sort of doing stuff with life. I need to make some time to do that this year. I don't know if you're the same. Right, it's Connie with you until midday today.
My sister, tell me what the trouble is. I'll try to listen good and give the best advice that I can give. So, what's up with you this time?
Business. The number of female business startups now match men. We'll find out why. And apparently giving someone the thumbs up, as we were just talking about, apparently is a little bit offensive. We're going to be learning all about modern day emoji etiquette.
Call now 08085 92 95 00.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Doing everything you please, spending time with the ones you care for, and having all that you need. I'm gonna start a concentration on the finer things in life, and our only persuasion to every man and a wife. Well, season's greetings to you. Season's greetings, baby. Season's greetings to you. Season's greetings to you. For my best wishes, hey, for peace and harmony. 'Cause if we can get it together, tell me how happy can we be? Oh, yeah, let's go. Season's greetings to you. Season's greetings. Season's greetings to you. Season's greetings to you. Season's greetings to you. But wait a minute, don't forget your mom and papa. I know it's special to you. Tell me what you need now. Try my best to send it to you. I wouldn't tell you no lie. Season's greetings to you. That's what it is now. Lord, salutation. Season's greetings to you. The best in the west and the east, never the least. Season's greetings to you. Season's greetings to you.
Well, it's 10:30. It is this time of the week for health surgery, and this week we are talking all things dental with a resident dentist, Dr. Ambi Giabalin. Morning, Ambi.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. I'm really good. It is that time where, listen, here's the thing, right? Whenever you're trying your best to balance life, as this is a very personal thing to me, and I'm going to get your take on it, right? As a parent. And I keep seeing these memes about what you imagine life when you're brushing the teeth of a toddler to what the reality is, and it's someone wrestling a crocodile.
It is, because I sometimes think that's a huge fight, and a lot of parents have this problem because children they don't like it unless they're doing it themselves. When they're doing it themselves, they're just basically chewing the toothbrush.
Exactly.
And I always say, well, it's better than nothing, because at least it's going into the mouth, and yes, they're chewing it. But nowadays, you